Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'd love it if you could leave a comment letting me know where you're listening from around the world. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this video. Story 1. I've worked more WWE shows than I can count. From packed Madison Square Garden spectacles to rundown school gyms in the middle of nowhere. I've hauled cables, rolled tape, and watched legends rise and fall from behind the lens of my camera. But there's one night, one place I can't shake no matter how many years go by. The old Liberty Dome. It was in Louisiana, just off a quiet highway that cuts through a swamp so thick it looks like the trees are trying to swallow the road. I remember the exact date, October 27th, 2013, a Sunday. We were doing a low-key house show, the kind that barely makes it to the fan forums. No big names on the card, just a few mid-card guys and developmental talent. A warm-up before the Monday Night Raw event in Houston. I was assigned to shoot handheld ringside footage. I'd never heard of the Liberty Dome before, and when we pulled up, I understood why. It looked wrong. The building sagged. The roof was streaked with rust and mildew, and the sign above the entrance, Liberty Sports Arena, was missing 2 letters and dangling from a single bolt. Weeds burst through cracks in the pavement. The air smelled of old water and forgotten things. But what hit me hardest wasn't the look of it. It was the silence. Even when a building's empty, there's always sound. The hum of power in the walls, the click of footsteps, echoes, something. But here, it was like sound didn't want to stay. It felt like the whole dome was holding its breath, waiting for something, or watching. We set up inside. Dust blanketed the seats. Mold crept up the walls. The lights overhead flickered constantly, like they were tired. I chalked it up to the building's age. Still, I kept checking over my shoulder. You ever get the feeling someone's right behind you, just out of frame? During rehearsals, something weird happened. I was watching through my monitor, framing a wide shot of the ring, when I noticed movement. Just beyond the curtain at the back of the stage, a figure, tall, still, wearing an old-school wrestling mask. Not the modern kind. I mean really old, 1970s style, plain white with slits for the eyes and mouth. I looked up. Nothing there. I scanned backstage. No sign of him. Nobody had been booked to wear anything like that. And besides, the building wasn't open to fans yet. Just us. I told myself it was a shadow, a trick of the light. Kept working, but I couldn't shake that image. The mask, the posture, like he was watching, but not curious. More like he was remembering something. That night, things got stranger. One of the top rope guys, real show-off, slipped during a routine jump and landed bad. Said his foot just went dead. Equipment kept glitching. Mics gave off static. Lights dimmed for no reason. And then the rookie, Tyler, good kid, nervous as hell, refused to change in his locker. Said he heard someone breathing behind him. Not snoring or muttering. Breathing. Close. Heavy. When he turned, the space was empty. I laughed it off. Joked about swamp gas and ghosts. That's what you do when you're spooked. You make it funny. But inside, I was starting to feel it too. Like the whole arena didn't want us there. The main event came and went. A decent match. Crowd of maybe 200, mostly locals. The kind of people who cheer like it's still the Attitude Era. I shot the footage, packed up my rig, and started heading for the back exit. Most of the crew had already cleared out. Just me and a few others doing last-minute checks. That's when I saw him again. He was standing in the middle of the ring. Same mask, same white slits for eyes. Only now, I could see the rest of him. His gear was old, not retro old. Faded black trunks, stained boots, knee pads with the fabric torn open. His skin was too pale, grayish. He wasn't moving, just watching me. I froze. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but I didn't. I just stared back. He tilted his head, slowly, like a dog trying to understand what it's looking at. That small movement, just that, made the lights flicker wildly, then blow out. Total darkness. I mean pitch black. No exit signs. No phone glow. No emergency lights. It was like someone had sucked the light right out of the air. I don't know how long I stood there. Could have been 10 seconds. Could have been 10 minutes. When the lights finally came back on, the ring was empty. Not a trace of him. Nothing. I didn't tell anyone. What would I say? Hey, I saw a ghost wrestler in the ring and then the lights went out. I would have been laughed off the crew, so I kept it to myself. But here's the thing that still gives me goosebumps. About 3 months later, I was back in Louisiana for another shoot. Different venue. After the show, I grabbed drinks with one of the local stagehands. We got to talking about old arenas, and I brought up the Liberty Dome. He got quiet. "You haven't heard?" he asked. I shook my head. It burned down. Whole thing. Around Christmas. No one knows how it started. They say it was empty. Fire marshal never gave a cause. I went home that night and looked it up. Sure enough, the photos were online. Just a charred foundation, steel beams twisted like ribbon. But one image stuck with me. It was a shot of the ring. What was left of it, blackened and half collapsed. And there, in the center of the frame, was something small and warped. It looked like the corner of a white wrestling mask, melted into the mat. I haven't told anyone this story. Not officially. Not until now. I still shoot WWE events, but I check the venue names carefully, and if the Liberty Dome ever rises again from those ashes, I won't be there. Not ever again. Story 2. You ever feel something heavy settle on your shoulders that isn't really there? Like invisible hands pressing down, not with weight, but with warning. That's what it felt like the moment I put on that belt. It was 2010, and I was on a developmental tour with a few big names dropping in to boost ticket sales. One of those half-promised showcases the WWE would do in smaller cities. Hype the crowd, test out talent, maybe find the next breakout star. That night we were in a freezing, barely lit civic center in Ohio. The kind of place where the walls sweat in winter and the heating hums like a dying animal. I just finished a light sparring match with one of the veterans. One of the older guys who doesn't talk much unless he's telling you what you're doing wrong. Afterward, I got pulled aside for a backstage promo shoot. Nothing fancy, just me talking into the camera, hyping up the next card. A chance to get seen. The prop guy, skinny, older, looked like he hadn't slept in a month, dug around in a black trunk and pulled out a belt. Not one of those plastic replicas. This one was heavy, worn, and real. The gold plate caught the harsh overhead light and scattered it like broken glass. "Take this," he said. "Makes it look official." I reached out, but he didn't let go right away. Instead, he looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Just don't wear it too long. It's got a story." I grinned. "What, haunted?" He didn't laugh. I brushed it off. "I mean, I grew up on wrestling stories, backstage ribs, urban legends, curse venues, you name it. This was just another old-timer trying to freak out the new guy. So I buckled it around my waist. The leather creaked, and the gold plate sat heavy just above my navel. I turned to check myself in the mirror, half expecting to see the ghost of Hulk Hogan cheering me on. What I saw instead made my breath catch. The gold was darkening, slow at first, then spreading like an ink spill. Thick, red drips leaked down the plate. Blood. It looked like pooling at the edges and running down my thighs. I staggered back, blinked, and just like that, it was gone. The belt was shiny again, pristine, clean. I touched it, half expecting the wet stickiness of blood. But it was dry, cool, almost icy. That night in the ring was a mess. I forgot lines during the promo, stumbled during my entrance, botched 2 simple moves, and caught a sharp elbow to the temple. I remember the lights tilting, the sound of the crowd muffled like I was underwater. I made it backstage barely. Then, darkness. I blacked out. When I woke up, I was on the floor of the locker room, surrounded by trainers. One of them was yelling my name. Another was checking my pulse. My throat was raw like I'd been screaming. My hands were clenched tight. They had to pry them open. That's when they saw it. The belt. I was holding the damn thing. But that couldn't be possible. I'd returned it after the shoot. I remembered giving it back to the same warehouse tech who had quietly stashed it away in a locked case near the loading dock. No one could explain how it ended up in my hands. When I asked about it later, no one gave me a straight answer. Most brushed it off. One guy told me I was overworked. Another said I might have had a concussion and just imagined returning it. Only the old tech spoke to me directly. Caught me near the vending machines the next day. "You saw it, didn't you?" he asked. I didn't say anything, just stared at the belt, now resting inside a locked crate, wrapped in bubble wrap like a relic. It looked harmless in the daylight, but I knew better. Who did it belong to? I finally asked. The man didn't answer right away. He looked down the hall to make sure no one else was listening, then leaned in. It was last worn by Richie Murdoch. The name hit me like a gut punch. Richie was a mid-carder in the 80s. Charismatic, fiery, a real workhorse in the ring. The fans loved him, but his career burned out fast. Rumors circled, alcohol, injuries, dark moods. Then came the hotel incident. He was found dead in his room, clutching the Intercontinental Championship to his chest. Heart attack, they said. Natural causes. But the strange part, he wasn't even supposed to have the belt. He had lost the title 2 weeks earlier. No one knew how he got it back. They found his fingernails cracked, the tech said, scratched into the leather like he was trying to claw it off, but he couldn't let go. I felt sick. My hands still ached from clenching the belt on my sleeve. After that, I kept my distance. Didn't ask to wear the belt again. Hell, I didn't even look at it. A few weeks later, we were told it had been retired. Too damaged for use, they claimed. But I knew the truth. It was locked up in a metal case in Stanford, buried under other forgotten relics of the WWE past. But I swear, sometimes, when I'm at a live event, I get this weird chill. Right before the lights go out. Like something cold brushing past my spine. Like something old is watching. And every once in a while, just before sleep, I see it again in my mind. That golden plate. Bleeding. Story 3. I've always liked the silence before the storm. The 30 minutes before show goes live. The arena buzzing. cables coiled like snakes across the floor, lights warming up, monitors flickering with life. In those moments, everything feels electric, alive. But now, I dread it. I've run the Titantron visuals for WWE for 7 years. It's a stressful job. Every transition, every entrance, every promo reel, I handle it. There's no room for error, no glitches. If something goes wrong, it's not just noticed, it's seen by millions. That night was a Monday Night Raw taping in Newark, New Jersey. Winter air had crept into the cracks of the Prudential Center. I remember because I kept rubbing my fingers together to stay warm, even inside. Nothing was off at first. Same crew, same chaos. The show kicked off with pyro and the crowd roaring. I sat up in the control booth, my headset humming with chatter. Match 1 ran smooth. So did match 2. Then, during a backstage segment with one of the rising stars, it happened. A flash, not even a second long, just a flicker across the Titantron. I blinked, pulled up the feed logs. It wasn't part of the queue. It wasn't anything I'd seen before. A black screen, no sound, just a pair of eyes. Pale, bloodless, wide open, staring directly ahead, like it knew someone was watching. I thought maybe someone in the truck was screwing with me, but the feed wasn't even routed through the truck. It came from an internal loop. Not possible. I told myself it was a glitch. I've seen stranger things in tech. The system resets. Loops skip. Nothing supernatural about it. That lie worked until the third match ended. I was watching the entrances from my monitor when I noticed something unusual. People in the front rows, real wrestling fans, the kind who scream until their throats give out. They had gone quiet. Some were pointing, others were whispering. A man in a Cena shirt tapped his wife, then pointed at the Titantron. I looked up. The eyes were back. Not a still this time. A video. Real time. The same pale eyes, blinking slowly, steadily, like they were breathing, like they were watching the arena through the screen. My spine locked up. I double-checked the queue. Nothing. No file name. No input source. Nothing was playing, at least according to the system. But the Titantron disagreed. I fumbled for the override switch. That's when one of the wrestlers walked up the ramp. He slowed, stopped dead in his tracks, and turned his head, staring at the screen like he'd seen a ghost. He leaned into his mic, thinking it was off, and whispered, "Who the hell is that on the screen?" The moment he said it, the feed blinked, like it knew it had been noticed. The eyes narrowed. I flipped the emergency blackout. The screen went dark. We rebooted the entire system. Twice. Backstage was chaos. Producers yelling, techs scrambling, fans confused. We chalked it up to unidentified interference. Nothing new for WWE, but this felt different. That night, I stayed late. After everyone had cleared out, I had to know where the feed came from. There was no source, no hardware linked to the signal. It didn't come from the cameras, the archive system, or any external input. It had just appeared. I didn't sleep well. The next morning, my inbox had a new message. No subject line, no sender, just one sentence. He watches from the dark. Stop showing his face. I swear my skin went ice cold. I stared at the message for a full 5 minutes. Then I deleted it. I didn't respond. Didn't show it to anyone. What was I supposed to say? That the Titantron is haunted? The following week, Raw moved to a new city. We changed equipment. Different cables, different crew, everything reset. But that night, just before the second match, I thought I saw something again. A flicker, just for a moment. And the crowd, they never saw it. But I did. The eyes, watching me, blinking, waiting. I keep telling myself it's in my head, that the job's getting to me. But every Monday I come back. I sit in the same chair, hands on the switchboard, eyes on the feed. Because if he comes back, if those eyes return, I want to be the first to see him, and maybe the last.